Namaste everyone and welcome. Thank you for pressing play. As always, thank you for all the likes, the shares, the comments and the messages. You're all very kind and gracious. What a week. I said put your big girl and big boy pants on, we weren't kidding. I want to just thank everyone at the Magdalene Centre for the way that you all have supported one another this week. And on a very practical level, you know, helping out with those that have not been well. You are the light of the world, you are my pride and joy. I love you all so much. Okay, so although it's quite chaotic out there, I'm sure already you may be feeling that sense of optimism, that sort of, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I certainly am. So we'll get straight into the astrology because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so this week coming, we need to keep those big girl and big boy pants on. We start with Tuesday, new moon in Sagittarius. 3:15. 3:05. I have to tell you, I got the notes. The notes have been corrected once already. And then before we came on here, the notes had to be corrected again. I was like, are we sure? I'm like, I'm not feeling confident. You need to double check. So I'm just saying, for those of us in the business world, because some of what we would be addressing is the way that we come back together. You see, the work of Sagittarius is a refinement of the work of Scorpio. Scorpio is like the craziness. What did we say at the beginning? It's time to do the Scorpio deep dive. Now that you may have experienced it consciously, if you've been watching, it's quite a ride, isn't it? It's, well, it depends how detached you are, I suppose. You can be the calm in the storm, or you the storm itself, or you just flailing about. It's quite marvellous, really. So the work of Sagittarius is refining it. So it's probably a little less chaotic, but it is still very profoundly deep, and it sets you up for all of next year. So let's crack on. New moon in Sagittarius, an opportunity to focus, to choose to embrace the higher levels of Sagittarius. Okay. As with everything, we exist in a duality. If you saw the video on Wednesday, you now know that duality is within you. A very crude and plain way of saying it is you're either channeling the Spirit of Christ or you're channeling Satan. Blunt but true. So we refine that work of choosing the Beasty or the Priesty or the Priestess. That is how this whole started. So again, the higher levels of Sagittarius, such as faith, optimism, generosity, and a sincere search for the truth. And freedom, well, I mean, the amount of freedom you have is directly proportionate to the amount of responsibility you take. Now, the responsibility you take also extends to the thoughts that you have. Sometimes you can't help that they're coming in. Okay. Where do your thoughts come from? I think we briefly touched on that. We'll go through that. Where do they come from? Well, now you know that they come from spirit. But which spirit are you listening to? Okay, so again, we're just starting it all over again. Year by year, like I said, through the Scorpio time, you've got to go into your shadow side, your dark side. Literally go and look the devils in the face and cast them out of your heaven. A search for sincere truth and freedom based on understanding of spiritual law. We'll get into that. Or choose to remain in the lower levels, the Beasty part, which is self-righteousness, judgment, fanaticism, an uncontrolled desire for self-indulgence. In other words, overindulging in your addictions, whatever they are, and self-gratification. Also, Venus enters Capricorn, and this goes on until the 20th of December. An opportunity to work on establishing the foundations of long-lasting relationships, whether those relationships are romantic or partnerships, friendships, businesses, any relationships. Any relationships. We all coexist. When we turn upside down world right way up, which we are doing, we will realise, well, as we go turning it up, we become to realise that we all need one another. You do not even brush past an individual in your lifetime that wasn't meant to happen. Okay? So, sometimes some people are perceiving, operating, listening to the lies, speaking the words, taking the action, and they're taking that lower level path. Okay, while others are not. They're somewhere in between. They're the light. No one has to be perfect. Ha ha ha. This is the period of time where that word becomes... it gets used a lot to condition you. Because we have to now have the perfect Christmas, yes? Of course we do. And the perfect Christmas is closely followed by the perfect summer. Okay, because of course you have to be perfect. Of course you have to be perfect, because if you're not perfect, you're not as good as the next person. Well, that is a lie from the devil. So we start to now bring back together in terms of relationships. So the Scorpio season is we just rip everything apart. We take the veil, we rip it, okay? We look at duality bare in the face, we face our own demons, our own devils. Sometimes we look into the face of devils and demons. And during Sagittarius, there's 2 T's in Sagittarius, 2 crosses. T's are crosses, we'll talk about that soon. So of course relationships become hugely important because we're bouncing off of one another all the time. You know, someone's the baddie, someone's the goodie, you know. And good always triumphs over evil. You have to remember that. So of course relationships become hugely important to again refocus on. So it's like the coming back together. Which relationships managed through the storm? Okay, and it's about building those relationships on solid foundation. You're not building castles on the sand. Okay, so it's about establishing foundations of long-lasting relationships, whether romantic, friendship or business, through cultivating stability and a mutual commitment to one another, through making and honouring promises that enable a mature form of love to flourish, whilst overcoming tendencies towards emotional coldness or a tendency to try and control others for personal gain. There's a lot happening on Tuesday. Neptune direct. Oh, breathe a sigh of relief. The end of over 5 months of dissolving away the layers of illusion the ego has built, and applying the truths that we've learnt about ourselves so that we may embody the spiritual insights we gained about ourselves. So stop for a moment and think to yourself, from the end of June this year until now, Neptune has been retrograde. Okay, so what basically happens is that the illusions of the ego are very perceivable from you, from internal and others looking at you. Okay, so you've had an opportunity to have a good hard look at yourself. Reason why it was so tough this year, it was a 3 3 is about integrating the Trinity. So we really had a very, very powerful opportunity to really transcend that duality within ourselves and bring ourselves ever so much closer to oneness, gnosis, being one with God on a persistent, constant level. That is how you exist, perceive the world. Don't worry, you always have your personality. That's what gives you your shine. That's what gives you your shine. So now we've had an opportunity to have our egos ripped open, ripped bare. And we're either going to try to mend it and plaster it back up, or we're going to say, nope, 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 nope. That's not who I am. This is what I've learned. I am actually growing up, and I'm going to walk in my true self, which is, quite frankly, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're not a human being cleaving to some spiritual understanding or some spiritual meaning to your life. Life is about living. Everyone worries about what's going to happen when they die, missing the whole point of your life. So during the Sagittarius time we get to see, did we gain the wisdom and understanding from all of the chaos of the year? Okay, Sun in conjunct Uranus, retrograde. The challenge to change the sense of self-identity based on the insights coming from the higher mind, and to do so without becoming arrogant, by remembering that everyone is unique, they're all individual. You do not have to be perfect. If you are striving for perfection, you need to go back to the beginning. We are all sisters and brothers in the spirit. Yes. From that perspective, when you get the beasties, when you exorcise the lies, you have to concede that we are all one. You may look different to me. You may be raised different to me. You may have a different set of beliefs. But at the core of it, we are all brothers and sisters. Namaste. Okay. That's only Tuesday. Ooh. Wednesday, Venus square Chiron. A challenge to recognize where the wound to the sense of self-identity affects our capacity to give and receive love in relationships, and to choose to face and heal the wound so that fear does not prevent us from connecting with others. Then on Thursday, Venus trine Uranus retrograde. An opportunity to embrace change and transformation in relationships through respecting the freedom of each other and encouraging mutual self-development to enable greater authenticity and grow in relationships. Yeah, it's not a competition. It's not a competition, that's duality. It's all duality. Duality is just the core of all the problems. Okay, it's not in relationships, it's not a competition. It's a collaboration. The two of you make something greater. Yes? Okay, and also on Tuesday, Mercury trine Neptune. An opportunity to use mindfulness. In other words, be still, don't react, stop and think about it. To unite logic and intuition, and to reprogram our thoughts and words so that they are guided by love, compassion, truth, and unity rather than fear, anger, and separation. You see, logic and intuition is actually a duality. Logic is masculine. Intuition is feminine. When the disciples were really annoyed that Mary Magdalene, a woman, seemed to be be able to integrate, or in other words, understand the teachings of Yeshua far quicker than they could. They became frustrated. She also used to pose many more questions than they did. She would ask questions, and it was the asking of the questions which seemed to annoy them, because she took up all of his time with the questions. Did you see? And they were getting annoyed, and they were saying, why are you giving this woman this time? Okay, well, firstly, why didn't they ask questions? Maybe they were too proud to ask the questions. She wasn't too proud. She was asking the questions. And they were more concerned with the time that she was taking up asking these questions and actually learning from the questions, I suppose. And then they posed it to him. They got that frustrated. Why are you doing this? Why? And he was like, well, why not? Is she different to you? Well, yes, but she's a woman. And he said, well then, I shall make her a man. Interesting thing to say. And that's exactly what this means. When you integrate as a human being, as a woman, I'll speak from my perspective as a woman. Women think differently to men. Their brains, or should we say their psyche, it works differently to men. Men have very compartmentalized thinking. Everything's in a box. Usually then, I don't want to deal with a box. That's the favourite box, or drawer, or seat, whatever. And then something happens and they've got to deal with it. They jump into that, I need to go and fix the car or whatever. Then they jump into that mode. Don't be asking them about dinner and all of that. They're not in that mode. They're not in that box. They're in this box. Women are different. Women go, I need to make the dinner. I need to fix the car. And it's like boom, 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 boom. They're addressing 10 things relative to fixing the car or making the dinner. It's just that our psyches, our minds work differently. Thank goodness. Could you imagine if everyone was just logic? Okay, but anyway, getting back to what I was saying. How do you make a woman into a man? Well, how was it possible? Well, basically she integrated her masculine side with her feminine side. So the point was, she thought like a man, but behaved and presented as a woman with that perfect synergy of logic and intuition. And that's what we all kind of have to do at the core of it, to transcend duality. But you have the rest of your life, calm down, it's all fun. Okay, Saturday the 30th. Mercury sextile Saturn, an opportunity to cultivate mental discipline. You can't make it up. An opportunity to cultivate mental discipline through weeding out the thoughts that distract us from what is important, to develop a one-pointed focus. In other words, what distracts you from becoming one? Integrating all the very many dualities. You only have to be worried about the duality in you. When you work on yourself, everyone benefits. Everyone benefits. Okay? Imagine having a world full of people who are illuminated, That's heaven on earth. Collectively, how are we going to have heaven on earth collectively? Well, if each of us create that for ourselves, help someone else, help someone else, help someone else. Okay, so that's the astrology. All right, so it's very exciting. This time of the year is marvellous. Why? Because I'm very soon about to have a 6-foot tree in my living room. I wanted just to mention, we're in Sagittarius. I know we've gone on a bit. We'll do the cards now. We're in Sagittarius, so we'll talk more about Sagittarius next week and a little bit of the ups and downs. But just as a snapshot, we're choosing the Beasty path or the Priesty path yet again. Okay? When we come round to next year, August, September, same again. Same again. Spiritual law is going to come. What did you do? What path did you choose? Doesn't matter who you are in the world. The sun doesn't just shine on one person in the street. If the sun is shining, everyone on the street is getting the sun shone on them. Okay? Do you really think our Father's going to let us loose, run around? And no, He has everything absolutely under control. Even when the deceptive forces conjure and create some scenario, some system to just completely enslave us in darkness, that same weapon that was forged against us somehow manages to trip them up. So let's not panic. Let's shoot for the stars. You've got to spend the next couple of weeks focusing on your best life. All right, December starts with the D. D is the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Daleth. Daleth means door or cosmic womb. Yes. Now, we think of a door with an opening door. Okay, so it's something that either keeps something in or keeps something out. Okay, let's change our perception. A doorway is something you can walk through, to and fro and to and fro. Okay, so we've just been into the Holy of Holies, 11:11, yes. Okay, so now we're entering December, Daleth, the door, okay, the doorway into the cosmic womb. Yeah, the arrow's going up, yes, up into heaven. In other words, it's like an email going to our Father saying, this is what I want, this is what I want. Not that like he needs to, needs an email, of course he knows. That's why when I pray, I don't ask for this and for that and whatever. I just say, bless me. That basically means, give me the strength to endure what I need to endure. Okay. And give me what I need. If you dedicate your life to being one with God, I think your physical needs will be met. I mean, it comes without saying. So, we hopefully got the devils out of our heaven, so there were no devils in our Holy of Holies, and we sent up an email saying, this is what I want, this is what I need. And if it is God's will, in other words, if it is what is meant to happen in your life to keep you on the path of your ascension, which is becoming one, transcending the duality, so that your light can shine on the world. This time of great change we're going through as a collective, we have a responsibility to shine our light. So we're walking through now the door, okay, because something's about to be, it's going to be birthed, but before birth we need, what's the word? Conception. Yes, that moment where life, okay, where God says, yes, kiddo, that's what you do, boom, okay, alright, so that's December, conception, well, I mean 25th of December, birth of the Christ child. So it's all very fascinating. So being the fourth letter, what I found fascinating is the fourth commandment is, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Remember those? Oh. Ooh. Yes, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Next year's a 4-year, we'll talk about it, we'll get you there, we'll get you there. Okay, so just to go through it again, Sagittarius season we're dealing with optimism, faith, philosophy, travel, pilgrimages, spiritual quests, spiritual laws or natural laws, and rebirth into the collective consciousness, grace and understanding. Or you're taking the lower levels, that's fanaticism, crusader mentality, on a crusade for, just yourself really. Believing that you know everything, a little bit of knowledge makes a dangerous type of thing. Arrogance, self-indulgence, unregulated appetite, or you're just losing control over your base desires just completely. I mean, Christmas, we know how it goes sometimes. And arrogance, just like a load of arrogance. Those are the lower levels. Beasty or Priesty. Here we go again, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going with 7. We're not, we're going with 8. Okay. We'll wait. Okay, my darlings, we have independence. Yes, beware the return of the crazy ex this week. Independence, boundaries. Okay, if you're reforming your relationships and maturing them up, it means you're going to be talking, you're going to be opening up, you're going to be repenting from what you've done potentially. If you're smart, you're going to be having to set boundaries. You're going to be having to do all of that kind of things. We have perception card. All right, because it's all about your perceptions. This is a period of time you're working on your perceptions. How am I seeing? Am I seeing from the zealot mentality? Am I seeing from this, I'm right, so therefore everyone else is wrong? But have I even looked into the matter? Have you bothered to look into the matter? What does it even mean? What does it do? Okay, so it's all about our perceptions. Okay, so from this perspective, I'm saying this is what's going to happen. You guys watching might be coming at this from your perspective of, what you've learned, what we've all been working on together, and you're doing the fruits of the Spirit, you're doing the patience, you're doing all of that. Because in the beginning, it takes effort. You actually have to control it. You have to decide you're not going to take that lower level approach. You're going to take the high road. It's like when you're a smoker and now you decide you're going to stop smoking. What's really going on there? Well, what's really going on is you're now developing a habit, a new habit of not smoking. You see, so we have to help you change your habit. We have to help you change your habit from thinking from the beastie perspective to thinking from the priesty or priestess perspective. Okay, so this is the period of time where you will be asked, what is your perception? Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? Where is your perception? How are you perceiving? Because there was all that talk about the wounds and the triggering. We're going to have a lot more triggering this week. If you think last week was bad, hold on. Okay, it's about why. If you've been triggered, instead of just reacting and going, why don't you say, why am I reacting like this? Why is this just making me annoyed? Why, when someone says this, do I get annoyed? It's easy to say, just because they're annoying me or whatever. Why? Ask yourself why. Inquiring mind, it's really important. So we'll have our perceptions stretched. It's about, what is your perception? How is it narrow? Is it wide? Are you looking at the big picture? Take responsibility for how are you perceiving things? Are you perceiving it from a victim? Are you perceiving it from I'm right, everyone else is wrong? We have then our wisdom. Okay, this is several things. It means that we could have people coming towards us that have some little beasties in their head, some revengeful intentions. It is the period of time where we're refining all of that, and people are, well, you see, the thing is, it's like a boil. If someone's a vengeful person, then they can go around being vengeful, but then if that vengefulness translates to a big fat boil on their face, everyone can see they're vengeful. Big fat boil on their face. Bless them, let's help them. Okay, you're never going to get rid of the boil until you get rid of all that stuff, all that horrible stuff. You've got to get rid of it. So this is what's happening, all of that nastiness. Now some folks only know how to get rid of that horrible pustule stuff by venting it on to other people or projecting it. Oh, don't look at me while my boil is pussy. Look over there, because that person's got 3 pussy boils. Okay. So, be aware of that a little bit. And also deceiving yourself. That's huge. Okay. Because if you are deceiving yourself, you assume everyone else is deceptive. You see, if that's your perception, okay, because you're a little Decepticon, you then assume everyone's deceptive. No, 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 that's just you. Because that's how you are, you assume everyone else is. They're literally telling me, hurry up. Okay, we then have the cow, which is about abundance, okay, primarily. Asking and receiving, again, this is about when you're sorting out your relationship, this is what I need, this is what I don't need that, I need this. But it's also about finances and about the fact that because you've maybe nourished something, you've grown something, you're about to receive back. Okay. Also, a lot of people that I know, because they're all beautiful, are givers. Okay. Now, givers find it hard to receive. Okay, so all you givers out there, guess what? It's time to receive. Okay, so expect those things to come back to you that you've been working on. It's like we get a little pre-Christmas treat round about now with the whole Jupiter thing. So we get a little treat, but the bigger treats to come a little bit down the road. But a few treats, okay. So also, if you need something, you need to ask. Okay, you need to ask. If you don't really know what it is, but you know you need something, just ask. Okay. We have the water fairy, which is again about feelings and emotions. Okay, well everyone's going to be up in the feelings this week. Of course, these are issues that we're addressing based on the energies that are being provided for, all to help us be a priesty. Leave that lower level. Help us turn this beautiful Eden back up the right way around. Okay, so there's going to be emotions and feelings very high. Okay. When this happens, you need to be quite grounded. So I suggest all the empaths, all of the highly sensitive people, go for some walks. I know it's cold, go for the walk, take the dog for a walk, do some gardening, do some physical activity. Yoga is a 4-letter word, but I do think it's really, really good for you. That's just a private joke. Okay, so I'm going to put this one up with this one, gentleness and diplomacy. There's going to be quite a lot of conversation going on this coming week. Rectifying things still coming out. So let us use gentleness and diplomacy in all our communications, even if we're triggered. So if you get triggered in a situation, you know what? Let's do a breath. Wait for the divine solution. Okay. And then we have the Queen, which relates to feminine energy, so wisdom. Okay, so overall this week, we need to apply wisdom. Did we say? We need to apply wisdom in all our doings. Okay. Set boundaries. We have movement. Okay, so this week the movement doesn't relate to feelings because we've got the feelings card. The movement relates to Mercury's just gone direct. Thank you. Everything is going to start moving forward. It's so lovely. That's why there's this feeling of optimism. You can't see it yet in this 3D reality, but we're already there in our spiritual reality. Like I am already in my heaven on earth. I'm there. I can feel it. It's exciting. And soon, there's going to be that actual movement where you start to see on the external, tangible movement. Okay, so anything that's been stagnant for a while is about to move forward. That's very exciting. Okay. Looks like a brilliant week. Yes? No more. That's it? Yep. Excellent. Have a brilliant week, everyone. Father, teach us the truth no matter the cost. Show us the truth no matter the cost. Bless each and every one of us. Peace be with each and every one of you. Namaste.